Welcome to the Goddess Show.
Today. Hi everyone. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. What's going on, everybody? We want to thank you for joining us on the Goddess Real and Raw podcast. We are coming live from the UK.
That's right.
In the darkness of dark. A little chilly outside.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. But we just want to thank everybody for joining us. How was your we go right into like, how was your day? How was your week?
My week was good.
Yeah.
I was just really happy to be happy. I was so happy when the Sabbath came, honestly. I was just like, Lord, thank you for the Sabbath. You're able to rest from everything you have done for the whole week and just clear your mind of everything. You know, I think that's very important. And when you realize how important the Sabbath is, you really, you're able to take it all in and to just relax.
Yeah, that the Sabbath is really actually for rest,
Mhm.
because sometimes we as Adventists or just as Christians, we don't rest. We do other things, and singing and preaching and talking and Sabbath school and just all kind of different things, and then
Mhm.
you end up doing more work on the Sabbath than you do throughout the week,
Yeah.
and then you're still tired, and then Sunday you're just busted.
Mhm.
So I know, like for me, I had to, because I was late Friday. I had to take some, because tomorrow I'm not gonna be able to do it, so I had to take some things that was already pre-done.
Right.
So I didn't really, but I had to, because I had to get the specimen sent off.
Right.
So it's like my Sabbath was all right. I didn't get to rest the way I really wanted to rest.
Right.
And then we've been doing the Bible, international
The Bible
Bible
studies for the
lesson,
children.
Bible study. So then that's taking some time, and then I do talking point
Right.
at 5:00. So it's like,
you're a busy person.
whew, yeah, I'm very busy. I don't have no days off. I don't have no days off.
Well, when
Especially
you have
dealing
a family,
with you, I don't have no
when
days
you have
off.
a family with children and you have things that have to be done, it ain't no such thing as rest.
Well, maybe I should be single.
Single. You know what? That's funny. That is really, really funny.
Nah, I love my family. No, I love being a father and a husband. So yeah, so there's no problem. But yeah, I don't get no breaks, but it's cool. I'm not complaining.
Right.
But my last week was pretty good. I had a little bit of car trouble.
Yeah, but thank God they got fixed.
Well, no, it wasn't really that the car was. It was like a mechanism in the car.
Mhm.
Out in the UK, these cars are different from the US.
Yeah.
So the car had a one pump problem, and I guess it's the water pump,
Right,
and the timing belt. So the timing belt was fine, but my antifreeze kept leaking. So like I'll drive, you was in the car,
right,
actually, and like you were driving, and all of a sudden be no antifreeze.
Mhm.
So I had to keep filling up. So I had to take it to the shop and get it fixed.
Right.
That was a nice little hit in the pocket, but
Right.
it had to be done.
Man.
But only because like I've been doing so many miles. I just got my oil changed in December when I did the MOT, which is like check up the car.
Right.
It's already telling me to service the engine.
Cause look at so much driving you're doing. You're going to Scotland, to London. You're going to all of these places.
Since January, I think I've done about 14,000 miles.
Right.
Almost 14,000 miles since December.
Right.
End of December when I got the MOT done. So I was like, well, I guess it's time to get the oil changed again. So I'm just like, oh, yeah. But, and otherwise for that, everything has been good. But it was good to be home this week mostly, right. And had a day off while we got the car fixed.
Right.
So that was good to get a little rest. So yeah, I enjoyed myself.
That's good.
Yeah. Then everything you've been looking at it, but I don't look at it. You've been looking at the news with Ukraine.
Yeah, the one thing that saddens me is that the racism that's going on with the whole situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they all going through situations right now.
They're all a refugee. So
right.
What's the difference between a refugee?
Right.
The color of your skin?
Black, white. Yeah, basically they let you know how strong racism is. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And that the fact that, that plays a part in a situation that they're going through right now. Literally like a World War III situation.
I don't really call it World War III, but yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I mean, the point of everything that's going on is just ridiculous.
Yeah. But when the chips are down, people show their true colors.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
But enough on that subject, because that's just we feel for them, and we didn't pray. So let's pray.
Let's pray.
And then we'll go to our guest.
Okay.
All right. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for another weekend that you have brought us through. And as we get ready for the week, allow us to get things accomplished and allow us to be able to do things that we need to get done. We ask the God that you be with the Ukraine as they're going through this time and grief. Everything else also in the world, Heavenly Father, we there's other countries that are not being talked about. There's other wars, other genocides, other massacres that are happening, other injustice, and we ask the God that you would just Be with those that are in charge. Watch over them. Help them to make the right decisions. Help them to make the decisions that will benefit their country and benefit the people. We ask the God that you continue to watch over us and everything we do. Be with this podcast as we go through it. Let us have a good one. And we want to just say thank you, Lord, for your love and your mercy. For this I pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
And on that note, we are going to be joined by David and Andrea. And here they are.
Hey, hello.
Hey, good evening.
Hi.
Evening, guys. How you doing?
We're good. Thank you very much.
It's good to see you. Look
And
like we
you-
got the problem fixed that we was having, so thank God.
Oh, God's good. God is good.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was on our end as I had to adjust my soundboard. Sometimes you have to turn it on and turn it back off. So I think that was the issue. So I'm sorry I took you guys through all of that little.
So we know
okay.
next time we can blame Tara, yeah?
It's Tara's
It's
fault.
Tara's fault, yeah?
Yeah.
Blame the woman.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, okay? I didn't say that. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can still hear us though, yeah?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. I think
Okay.
why is the volume? Don't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me some more volume?
Tower's working through something. No, it's nothing on your end. It's on our
Okay.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for some reason we can hear the sound through the computer, which we normally don't.
Yeah.
We normally hear it through the headphones, but for some reason we're hearing it through the. Yeah, we may have a short in our thing. We need to get that fixed. We'll work on that.
No worries.
Yeah, we can hear you though. That's fine. Hopefully, everybody hear our
Can
guests?
everybody hear everybody fine before we get started?
Yeah, we're good.
I think they're
All right,
asking the
cool.
audience.
The
Oh,
audience.
The audience.
Y'all let us know how this thing clicking.
Yeah. Let us know if you can hear them.
Okay. Okay, you guys have gone mute all of a sudden. I cannot hear you anymore. I'm not sure what you're
Guys,
She's
There you go,
unmuted.
that's
yeah,
better.
that's it.
Yeah, now we don't hear you. Hold on. We'll fix it. Hold on.
No, you're good now. You're good now.
I had turned it off. Oh,
You're good now.
all right. That should. Yeah. Whoa, that's excellent.
Yeah, that's good
Okay.
now. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
I had to go
Yeah,
click
yeah.
some buttons and
For
stuff.
some reason, the board was acting up, so she had to reset it. Now we can hear you through our headphones, which is better.
Okay.
I think Tara's going to end up being some kind of sound engineer.
I think so too.
I'm trying. You know, it's not easy.
We can get some pointers
It's
from David.
definitely
Yeah. I don't know.
Ah,
So how you guys been? How you guys week?
It's been it's not difficult. It's been a long week. As
Right.
you guys may know that Angie put out her program on Friday, but there was a
Mhm.
few late nights trying to fix it up,
Right.
and do some recordings, some last minute recordings and stuff. So
Right.
it's been a pretty interesting week.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys stay busy doing that.
oh yeah.
And
And that program is Generation X, right? Or is it Gen
That's
X?
correct. I think God is taking us through a process where we're learning to trust Him more. So
Yes.
we're doing this program very quickly. It's called The Things We Do for Love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And for the next, we started on Friday. It's for 7 Fridays straight.
Right.
We're looking at different Bible characters and the things they did for love and how it worked out. Some things were positive, but some things had detrimental effects that we're even feeling the repercussions of those effects even today.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
The wise man Solomon said, "There's nothing new under the sun.
Definitely.
Everything
Yeah.
that's happened before, people are going through similar things now.
Right.
There are definite lessons to be learned. So
Oh
you
yeah.
can go back to the SDA Generation X YouTube
Mhm.
channel and catch up
Mhm.
on Fridays and join us this Friday as we continue our program.
Okay, guys, y'all hear that? So y'all make sure y'all
Yeah,
tune in.
last program was a really good program.
It
It was
was.
with Adam and Eve, and
Mhm.
Pastor Ray Patrick really preached and had a good made you think of some things.
You definitely did.
Yeah,
And I have to say-
especially I like that part when he said about the woe woman. He said Adam said whoa men, and then he was like, that's how we got the name woman. I like how I may be saying it wrong, but that's how he kind of framed it.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's a nice little line. I never heard that before, because you heard the story of Adam and Eve so many times, but every preacher preaches it differently or says it differently. So it's good when you can get a different perspective,
That's it. And that's
Definitely.
the amazing thing, that a story that we've heard forever There's
Mhm.
still
Mhm.
things that we can learn. And
Oh, yeah.
I want to say a special thank you for Pedro because I gave him, normally I give Tara the distress call. She already had her distress call, and so she's already prepared and ready and done her thing already. But this time it was Pedro's turn to get the distress call, you know.
I know my phone. I saw my phone ring. I didn't know you had my number.
Listen, man, this
But
is our
it was
fine numbers,
programmed because you don't normally call me. So I see my phone ring and I'm like, Andrea, why is she calling me?
Yeah,
Does,
man,
does she
that's
need
it.
Tara? I was like, do you need Tara?
That's when you know. That's when you know. You know, we dug deep, man, to find Pedro's number.
Yeah, that was a last minute thing. It was a little it's very nerve wracking trying to do things like that because even though we do the podcast, we on this, sitting there and having to like come up with something in your mind for a
Record
minute
yourself.
and record yourself. I give you guys credit because it's not easy. It's not easy. I messed up like 20 times and I just kept doing it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it right.
Don't worry.
David know that all too well, don't you,
And
David?
I said the only reason why she even asked because she knows that if she asks me, I'm gonna do it. I was like, so I can't let her down.
No, but it was lovely seeing you on. And what is nice and what I like about the program is sometimes we're using people that you wouldn't normally see
Yeah.
up
Right.
front,
Definitely.
and it's just nice to see our generation up there
Yeah.
doing our thing and being able to reach our generation. Because
because we are.
and this is not to slate the church. The church cannot do everything. Some things we have to do for ourselves.
Definitely.
But it's nice that it's something that FUBU thing for us by us.
Right.
That type of
Yeah.
thing. It's
Oh, I
really
like
Yeah,
good.
because
I believe
we are part of Generation X. You're not there yet, Tar.
What? I'll be 40 this year.
You're still a baby.
She's an honorary
Yeah,
Generation X.
we're gonna bring her in.
She's
bring her
honorary.
in.
She's gonna be an honorary Generation X.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's messed up.
Whatever. Yeah. So we're gonna get on the subject that we was talking of. We got you guys to come on because in today's society, it's something that has really been getting more and more steam that a lot of people are doing in Bermuda, in the States, here, and that is homeschooling. Because the knowing firsthand, before you guys get started, I'm just gonna give it like with our kids going to school and it being an all white school and just the racism and just the not even diversity, the challenges. Like Peter's been there 3 years and he's just now starting to get adjusted to the school. Like he's now comfortable where it was like, we may have to move. He's like, why? I don't want to move. I got GCSEs in 2 years. He's like, he's okay to stay now because he's finally found his niche in the school.
Yeah.
And Sky is her first year, and she went through a little something where we actually consulted you about homeschooling her, and we was considering it, but then she begged us, so we said, okay, we'll give you one more chance. So she ended up going back to school. But we was like, we was already making up plans and everything to be like, okay, you're gonna be home. And
look, I was calling Andrea like, Andrea, what I need to do?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the first question would be is like, why did you guys decide to homeschool your kids?
Ma'am?
When I fell pregnant with Abigail, I read the book Education. And it was talking about mum being the best teacher. And having your children out in nature and, just basically how those formative years are the most important years because that's when the character is being formed.
Right.
And so from then I felt inclined to homeschool. But then also my mom, even though she didn't homeschool me, she didn't go to work until I was about 8 or 9. So I was one of those children that had to go to a childminder or go to an after-school club. My mom took me to school. I came back home and I was greeted by my mom, and I was very fortunate because I know that there are lots of mothers out there that would love to, but unfortunately, because of circumstances, situation, they just can't. But I liked the fact that going home to my mom.
Right.
And I think the third thing was when we were looking at schools for our daughter, we both believe in Christian education.
Right.
And I wanted her, I didn't go to an Adventist school, but David did. But I believe in not just Christian education, Adventist education.
Right.
But the nearest school was just what, an hour and a half,
yeah,
maybe
it was-
2
it
hours
was in-
away.
It was in Tottenham. We're in
Mhm.
South London, and the journey's about an hour and a half.
Right.
You know,
Right.
And that's without traffic.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then I just thought, what kind of life? But then the thing that topped it all off was the fact that I prayed about it,
Mhm.
and I believe with all my heart, God said to me, homeschool your child.
Right.
Now, I never dreamt in a million zillion years that I would homeschool my child. I wanted to be a high flyer. You know, when
Right.
Dave and I got married, we were going to take the
We would
world, man. We
tour
were going to
the world.
tour the world. My
Yeah.
feet were going to
Wow.
every continent. We're going to be out there. I'm going to
Wow.
have a company car. I'm going to be earning some big bucks, and everything's going to be great.
Right.
Mhm.
And then 6 months after
Yeah.
marriage, I
Yes,
was
we got-
pregnant.
Yeah, we got the
and
message.
yeah,
Wow.
life changed.
Wow. Wow.
So
So it happened fast.
that is, yeah. So our daughter is now 11, and
Yeah.
she went to nursery, but she's never been to a formal school. And
Wow.
even though it was at first when she was leaving nursery and her friends were going to school, it had
Mhm.
its challenges because she wanted, even though she didn't know what school was,
Right.
she wanted to go to
She wanted to be
go
with
to
her
school
friends.
and
Right.
be the same
Yeah.
as her
Mhm.
friends. However many years later, if you ask her now, she's not interested in going to school. She's quite happy
Really?
being homeschooled because of there are so many,
Mm.
there are pros and cons to homeschooling.
Right.
And I appreciate that homeschooling is not for everyone.
Right.
Mhm.
And
It requires a lot of dedication.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
it's not for every child.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
children will more thrive in a school environment.
Yes.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
when you're looking at homeschooling, you have to weigh up not only your availability, but look at your child and their
Right.
social skills and what they're actually like, what their needs are. Because the most important person in this whole mix is the
The
child.
child.
Definitely.
The child.
Definitely.
Would patience be a really big factor too for you to have patience?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I believe that I've learnt. Something you learn on the field.
I ain't
yeah.
saying nothing that I don't know, but I know for a fact Tyler don't have patience sometimes. Tyler just, that southern fire comes out and the emotion comes out and she, reacts before she thinks.
Yeah,
so
I
the
do.
patience is
That's
not
true.
there.
But
So
sometimes we need a little fire.
oh no. It's good to have the fire, but I'm just saying, sometimes, she loses the big picture for a moment and then she has to be kind of brought back down to,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, we all have those days because
Oh yeah.
when you're dealing with children and being a parent is challenging enough.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Much less,
Mhm.
especially as mothers, you are mom, you are
Mhm.
doctor and nurse,
Mhm.
you are the sous chef, the chief chef, you're the pot
You do
washer,
everything.
you're the
The
everything.
The house cleaner,
The house clean,
the
and there are no days off.
There are no days off. No.
yeah.
It
And
is relentless.
mhm.
Oh yeah.
And with
For those that
homeschool-
can't see, David's eyes are just. I'm sorry.
with homeschooling, it's even more so because you are then the teacher
Yeah.
as well. And sometimes, at first I was also, before I joined the homeschool network, I was also the playmate.
Right.
So if my daughter wanted to sit down and we're playing, afternoon tea and having cups of tea,
Right.
You have to do.
that's what I was going to do, because at that time now I was her best friend and everything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Mm.
but as I said, maybe I've painted a bit of a gloomy picture. There are
Yeah.
definitely pros to homeschooling.
Yeah.
The relationship I have with my children is it's a very close relationship.
Right.
We get to do various activities and
Mhm.
pursue different interests that are not part of necessarily the national curriculum.
Right.
And I can pursue the things that she enjoys and that she's good at, and
Right.
make things into a lesson. Now, I actually bought a Christian curriculum because
Mhm.
even though I can generate a lesson and think of a lesson, I like structure.
Right.
And I believe children need structure.
Right.
And because I couldn't develop a curriculum for myself and I wanted something that was in line with what they're learning at school, I bought one. Christian
Okay.
curriculum, and she does various different subjects, maths, English, science, social studies.
Mm-hmm.
She's also part of a French group, but in terms of her interest, my daughter's a bit of a geek like her father, and she wanted to do computer coding,
Oh,
and I
wow.
found a
That means
homeschool
she's a
network.
smart girl then.
Yeah,
I think the thing is that there are a lot of networks and different places that you can get a education when you are being homeschooled or when you're homeschooling, because there are
Right.
lots of groups, there are other people, other parents which are homeschooling as well.
Right.
And as Ange mentioned before, she's part of a homeschooling group.
Right.
And from that group you get lots of different ideas, you get informed of events which are taking place. Like, I mean, you tell them about the time you guys went to the Royal Albert Hall.
okay. Well, as a homeschool mom, I just ask questions locally. So
Right.
at my leisure center, I asked, do they have any do they have any activities for homeschoolers? And they said they
Right.
have a homeschool swimming class and they do a homeschool trampolining class. And I was like, yeah, definitely do those.
Wow.
And then when we went to the National History Museum and I
Mhm.
spoke to some of the people there, they actually said, well, we have actually got a mailing list and we do different exhibitions and have different viewings for homeschoolers. Well, it's for schools.
Right.
Any
Mhm.
excess tickets we give to
Mhm.
homeschool parents. And I'm
Mhm.
like, no, I didn't know
Yeah.
this was available.
Right.
And same with the
Royal Albert Hall.
Royal Albert Hall. And basically, we went to the proms.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
As
wow.
as homeschool family, and we've been to different spectacular events, and we've seen what how they do things backstage, and had a tour.
Mhm.
They gave us the history of the Royal Albert Hall, how it got its name. So in that visit, it wasn't just a case of knowing how they do things, but it was a history of how
Right.
they came about. And
Mhm.
there have even been occasions where she's been able to play on some of the instruments of the orchestra that have been taking part in the production,
Yeah.
where they
Right.
actually show you their instrument, tell you
Right.
how long they've been playing, make different sounds with it, and then they invite the children. This is before COVID, to come in
Yeah.
and they sanitize it and let the child have a go. But just
Right.
to develop a love of music. And it
Right.
was just such a great experience that I didn't realize I could have. So I wasn't missing out on some of the things that people do in schools, because
Right.
it was an avenue for homeschoolers to join into.
Wow.
Okay.
So that was really good. But
Wow.
also there's those school trips that I can choose to have a school trip any day.
Right.
I can pick up and say, you know what, today we're going to go to the V&A Museum, or today we're going to go on a boat trip. Or what was
like
nice
that.
was my sister found some cheap tickets and said, let's go to Mexico. And
Oh,
I
wow.
could put her books in the bag. I didn't have to wait for term time to finish, where
Oh,
all the
wow.
prices and the flights go up.
Right.
I could actually join my sister and my mum at the time, and we just packed her books and we went to Mexico for 2 weeks. And then when
Wow.
Wow.
we came back,
That's the benefits of being homeschooled. Wow.
exactly, because it's out of peak time. And
Mhm.
when we got back, we talked about the flag, the
Right.
people, the language they spoke, what they looked like, and made a bit of a project about it. So then it
Mm.
became a geography lesson and a bit of a history lesson, and
Mhm.
it was just, you can make a lesson out of nearly everything. There are some days my daughter loves to bake,
Oh,
and
wow.
if she says to me, "Mummy, can we make cookies today?" I can say, yeah, that's fine, because in making cookies, it's getting used to the kitchen. She's learning a life skill,
Right.
but also there's maths involved and science, because you're measuring. There's
Mhm.
comprehension
And
involved.
mixing.
You're reading, and there's mix, and you're reading the instructions and you're following those instructions. And
Mhm.
then it was called home economics back in my day. I don't know what it's called now,
Yeah,
but
it was called
I
that
think it's still
when I
called
was.
home, and I
it's
don't know
home
what it's called here,
economics.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, but actually the actual baking of it, and
Right.
being able to taste what you've made. So
Right.
even though it's a fun activity, learning can be fun. And learning,
Mm.
where possible, should be fun.
Wow.
I have a quick question.
No.
So, how does the UK recognize homeschool in the sense of like year by year? So, does she have to do a test
Yeah,
every
testing.
year, or is it just you understand what I'm saying? Like, like
Yeah.
When you get to like year 5, you have year 6, you have to take a test
The
to
SATs
see
maybe.
Yeah.
to go to year 7.
Hmm.
So how does that work on your end
Okay.
for doing homeschooling?
There is continual, I would say continual testing, but I mean with the courses that, for example, Abigail is doing, there are tests at the end of it. But also we get external people to make sure that Abigail is up to date
Right.
with the local, I would say local, how can I put it, with the current
National curriculum.
yeah, with the national curriculum, just to
Right,
make sure
right.
she's on track.
Mhm.
And that she's not like behind. I mean, there was one occasion when she was slightly behind, but we
Mhm.
picked it up. And at the moment, I think she's I wouldn't say she's ahead, but she's
You wouldn't say she's ahead? I'd say she's ahead. But
They say homeschool children. They say homeschool children learn more than the average child is in school.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, for me,
Right.
the joy of homeschooling is that you actually get to see them progress.
Right.
You get to see them start, from small scribbles on a page to writing essays, kind of thing. And
Wow.
that joy, like Ange mentioned, Abigail's cooking. She loves cooking, but
Mhm.
it's the small things that you see her growing, and you can say, well, look, I taught her that, I showed her that,
Right.
and
Mhm.
that's one of the joys of homeschooling as well.
Right.
But, going back to Pedro's question for a moment, she's not formal. She doesn't do SATs.
Okay.
Mhm.
And she's not required to. According to law, you have to give your child an education that is in line with their age.
Okay.
So what I do is just make sure the government know that she's been home educated, but if I ever get a knock on the front door, I've got all of her work that's lined up, that's dated, to say this is what she's done on this day, and they can actually have a look to see
what's going on.
what is being done.
We actually went through that when we first moved here.
Yeah.
Because we lived in Bolton and there was no schools
Available at the
available.
time.
So they was like, well, you can homeschool. So they actually gave us like booklets and curriculum of what we could do. And so the first couple of months, the kids were actually homeschooled when we first moved to the UK. And
Right.
and there's like, that's for, they came and knocked on the door, are you, and they looked at what they was doing. It's like, okay, they're okay. And then they left us alone. They didn't bother us anymore after that.
Right.
So we did start, but then when we moved, our situation was different because Tower's home.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the things we're just talking about, they've been blessed. We've been blessed that I've been a sole worker.
Right.
So since Pedro's been born, Tower's been home. So she's been able to be that, like you said, be that
first
nurturing,
teacher,
the first teacher when they come home, like homework and stuff. Like I help with the math because Tower doesn't like math. And I help and Pedro help with the English because some things in the UK is a little different for us. So he's learning that. So sometimes he helps us because we're like, we don't know what this is. Like, like we go to the 13-year-old like, hey, what is this? And he's like, oh, I know what this is. We're like,
Right.
we're looking at it like, what is okay? Because it's different. There's a different curriculum than the States.
Right.
Yeah.
And I find for Sky, we're trying to homeschool her was difficult, which I spoke to you about, Andrea, about Sky focus. She's not focused when she's home. She in relax mode. So it's no school time when I'm trying to do work with her. She just want to play her game. She just want to do her thing. But when she in school, she on a different level. So I realized even if I kept her home, it wouldn't have been good for her.
Yeah.
Because she's not that type of child that's going to stay home and do the activities that I may have planned for her. Because to her, it's just doing something with mommy. It's not really nothing that she's.
And she wants to go out every day. Can I
Right.
go out and ride my skateboard? Can I go out and skate? She wants to be out. She's an outside kid. She doesn't. So like Pedro, if he was a homeschool Pedro, he'd be the perfect homeschool kid because he likes to be in the house. If that makes sense, he would be perfect to homeschool because he likes to be indoors. He doesn't want to. He doesn't really care if he goes outside. But
Right, he don't.
But Kaya and Sky's like, we want to go outside. Can we go outside? Can we go to the park? Can we go this? Like they're more outgoing in the sense of they want to get out and mingle with socially with other people.
Right. I think the social part for Sky, I think was her hardest. She have to be around other children. Her just being here, she want to have that connection with other people. I think that's why I probably struggle to homeschool her.
So this begs the question: how is Abigail
doing with her social
social part of her social aspect of her
well
development?
So Abigail's involved in quite a few activities. Not only, we mentioned that she does trampolining, she does
Right.
swimming as well, but she's also involved with a group called Bricks Kids.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh,
Yeah,
you know
she's
what?
one of the new
She's one,
presenters.
she's one of the presenters
Right.
on Bricks Kids.
Oh,
So
okay.
Oh, cool.
so she has her activities with those guys as well, and she has her friends which are there.
Right.
So there is a lot of social interaction,
Mm-hmm.
with her friends. Obviously, when she goes to church, she meets up with her friends and hangs out with them as well.
Right.
During the week, however, there's not so much interaction simply
Mhm.
because she's at home being homeschooled.
Right.
That doesn't discount the fact that she does communicate with friends and speaks with them and arranges. During the lockdown, she'd arrange was it like cooking meetings with some of her friends and
Some of
everything.
her friends.
It-
Oh,
It'll all
cool.
be like on a Zoom meeting, like just cooking the same kind of ingredients. Oh,
Right.
it's the same thing,
Recipes.
and like comparing notes. Say, oh, have you done this? Yeah, I've done this.
Right.
So there is that social aspect of things as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
that's
formulated a group called Crafty Girls.
Mhm.
That was part of her some of her homeschool friends. This was more during the lockdown.
Right.
And they were going to do arts and crafts or on a Sunday. So they'd pick an activity, whether it was making pizza or it was origami or whatever it was for that day. And they set a time and they'd all come on Zoom. And then
Right.
sometimes they're all sitting in silence. And you kind of think, well, it was just the being together kind of thing. But
Right.
they'd all do whatever it was together. But I know that in terms of Abigail's social skills, I had to be very intentional.
Right.
Because I could be a bit of a homebody.
Mhm.
I'm not careful. And I know that I needed to get her out. So I made
Right.
sure that she had a different activity every day that would push me outside.
Right.
Because otherwise, it is just, well, at that time, me and her.
Yeah.
And I recognize the need to have friends. But I thank God for the church. I thank
Right.
God for the church
Definitely.
for many reasons, because obviously you have pathfinders, you have other friends within church, but
Mhm.
also going a step back again to Pedro's question a few minutes ago about assessments and David's
Right.
answer about asking externals, because there's so many teachers in the church.
Right.
My church knew that my intention was to homeschool,
Right.
but you can't do this thing by yourself.
No.
Right.
Nobody
You
knows
can't.
everything, but he's got blessed us with a church family that have different skills that can help.
Wow, that's
And so,
awesome.
the leader of Bricks Kids, he's actually deputy head of a primary school, and his year group is year 5, which Abigail would be in.
Oh,
So I
wow.
wow.
asked him to do an
It all
assessment
worked
on
out.
her to make sure that she's up to standard.
Oh,
Gotcha.
wow.
There was another member of my church. He's a deputy head of a secondary school, but the head of science. And I
Mhm.
said, she loves science. Can she come in and do an experiment? And she's meant to be doing the litmus test and, using a Bunsen burner and things like that,
Right.
she would use when she gets to secondary school, but just to have that experience.
Right.
So
Definitely.
I've got to thank God for the church family who, where there's been a gap, they've
Mhm.
been able to step in the gap
And feel it, yeah.
to fill it,
Mhm.
to help it, to make sure that her homeschool experience is as rich as possible.
Well, that's awesome.
Mm.
That is very awesome that you can have someone that can come in and take hold of those parts that you're not able to feel. So,
100%.
David, how did you feel about her doing the whole homeschool thing? Was you on board or was you not on board? Like, how was it?
That's gonna be my next question.
Oh,
No. Listen. At first, I was like, is this the right thing to do? And obviously, I prayed as well. Angie prayed as well. We both prayed about it. And
right.
well, you know what? Let's give this a go. Let's see what happens. Let's let God lead on this one. So when we initially started, I was like, okay, look, what do you need me to do? And I was initially the art teacher,
Mhm.
because that's kind of like what I do.
Right.
And we progressed a little bit, but I said a little bit.
I would have talked about this.
That's not what I heard.
But the fact is that no, I'm on board with this with homeschooling. I think it's something which is number one, it's a blessing, and as you, like yourself, Pedro, you're saying that you go out and you work, and Tara's at home
Right.
doing stuff.
Right.
we're in the same boat as well. So I'll go out and I'll work, and whilst Angie's homeschooling and looking after the kids as well.
Right,
And
right.
when I come home, I'll try and take over. So I don't
Mhm.
always do that because sometimes I come home and I'm shattered.
Yeah, you're tired. Yeah, I
You know,
see that.
I'm gonna give you a little suggestion. I'm not gonna give a suggestion, but you know what Tara does to me? So I come home and she knows I've been out all day. She shuts down. Like 9 o'clock is like 9 o'clock is her shutdown. So when I come home, I gotta put the kids to bed because Tara's on the couch sleep.
Hey, listen, I don't mind.
But I don't complain. I just do it because I know she's had a very long day. She's took the kids to school. She's been up all day. She's been up since 7. Because to be fair, she'll get up and get the kids ready and get them ready for school. Then I get them and I take them to school. I take the kids to the bus. If I can take Kaya to school, I'll take her to school, then keep going to work.
Right.
You know, those days like that, if the weather's real bad, I'll do that. So I know that she's been, so I don't complain, but that's how I help out. Like I'm like kind of forced to help out, which I don't mind, but I do help out. Even I'm not forced. I do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't mind putting the kids to bed. It's actually nice because you've been out, or like I said, out. Normally, I'm like downstairs in the kitchen, like I am here doing my work because of because of COVID and everything. But it's nice to be able to just say, okay, it's time to stop. I'll sometimes play with the kids. I'll sometimes be up here cooking. You look at me, she's looking at me. Saying, really?
I'm looking at her face like, Andrea, your facial expression.
Y'all gonna have a discussion after this discussion, aren't you?
I do put Asher to bed. I don't put Abigail to bed. He doesn't need to go to bed. But I do make sure that I read his story. I do make sure that he, he learns verses from the Bible. So, for example, we was teaching him the Lord's Prayer, and now he knows it perfectly. And next thing we're going to be teaching him is Psalms 23. Right. But the fact is that he, I don't mind putting them to bed. I don't mind spending time with him when I can.
Right.
When I can.
Andrea, fix your face.
I mean, look, listen.
He's like,
listen. It's days that I'm not home till late, so Tyler has to do it all. But it's called communication and just it's called communication and collaboration. You have to work together.
I'm just happy that I have a husband that's willing to take on the grunt of the money part of the aspect of the marriage, the family, because sometimes I feel bad, like, oh, maybe I should contribute more financially, to take some of the weight off him sometimes. But then he was like, I got it, don't worry about it, you just get everything straight with the kids. So that's sometimes I think that's a word for me sometimes, dealing with the kids all the time and him just working.
Well, actually, because like David, you go to work, right? But you know that when you come home, your kids are gonna be fine. And I think for me, that's a peace of mind that I have, that I know that my wife has got things under control. And like I tell people when I go to work, I'm on vacation when I go to work. Like for me, work is easy. It's when I get home that I do more. Like I walk in the door and my girls are like, can I get a piggyback ride? Pick me up, hold me, give me a hug, give me a kiss. Can I have some drink? Can I have a snack? Can I this? I'm like, I just walked in the door. Can I have Roblox? I mean, literally as I'm turning the key, oh, daddy, can I get some Roblox? Oh, daddy, can I have a snack? Like, and I haven't even got in the door. I haven't even taken off my jacket. I'm like, can I take off my jacket? Like, so.
Well, Pedro, I know this. I know the story, my friend.
Like, it's like, hey, and so.
It's like the captain has come home and all of a sudden it's like,
yeah, it's like they go crazy. Yeah, so like, and Tom be like, they were calm before you got home, right? I'm like, yeah, I figured that.
When the kids been around mommy all day, and they see mommy all the time. And when seeing daddy, it's like, oh, I don't see daddy that much. Daddy, they get the chance to connect.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not just that. I think like our kids are really simple. Like, so because they know I work, they know their time is limited. So if I just give them an hour of my time, they're good. Like, they're really good. But they want more time from Tower because they see Tower all the time. So they may want 2 hours from Tower, but they only want an hour from me. Yeah. So it kind of because they know, okay, daddy's been at work. I just need to spend a little bit of time with him and then I'll let him be. And then I could go rest or I could go kind of regroup myself, get together, whatever, for the night, for the next day. And they won't really bother me after that. They'll just leave me alone. Then they'll start going to their mother and she's like, isn't your daddy home? And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. So then they'll come to me. But, so, I mean.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I think, but and maybe we're all saying the same thing. I think my children see me as functional. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do all the functional things, the things that have to be done. Daddy
Mhm.
Yeah.
and daddy's play, and daddy does all those nice things, you know. So
Yeah.
Asha wants to be thrown around a bit, and some rough bit that I'm not, you know, that I'm like, somebody gonna get injured in here. There's gonna be crying any minute now, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm the one that's gonna say no, be careful, and daddy's gonna have him held up by one foot. And he's gonna
Mhm. Yeah, I used to do
Yeah.
that. I used to do that when they was little. When PJ was little, I used to do that. Tyler would be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
I actually got
that's
a
the
picture
one.
of was in Bermuda. While I think I was throwing about 10 feet in the air. Tyler almost passed out. I was literally we was at a park and I have a picture and I was throwing him up, like throwing him straight up and catching him, and he was just
Yeah, and
and
then
Tyler's face was like, you know, like, oh, he's gonna die. So yeah.
and I think that's part of the reason why they love daddies, because daddies are
Yeah.
fun and daddies do those kind of things. Whereas
But mommies are fun too, but it's like you said, it's a functional fun. It's a different type of fun. Yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
I was just smiling though, because I remember a time, you know, we're talking about putting the kids to bed.
Mhm.
There'd be times when David would put the kids to bed, and I think it was more of the kids putting David to bed.
So he sleep.
The kids would be coming out saying, "Mummy,
Daddy's snoring.
Well, Dad had been up since early. Dad had been up since
Oh
what? 6?
no! See, I don't do that. I actually stay up. Tommy, like when we're having worship, Tyler's over there nodding, and she's like, "Your voice puts me to sleep because it's so calm." I'm like, "You a bunch of." I'm like, whatever. My voice ain't calm. That's her excuse. But I know she's just tired. So, like I said, I know she works hard at home. So
Mhm.
I appreciate that, as I'm sure David appreciates you with that. And then you're also doing and on top of that, you have other things that you have going on in your life that you have to take care of, because people don't realize that along with the homeschooling, you have to juggle everything. So you like you say, you're juggling being a wife, you're juggling being a mother, you're juggling being a whatever you're doing at the time. You know, just things in life that you're dealing with
Mhm.
that people don't even really realize, along with the homeschooling that you're doing. So that's a lot. That I commend you for that, because that's a lot for one person to take on sometimes, you know, and so it could become a little stressful at times.
Do you feel burnt out sometimes where you just don't want to do
most
it?
definitely. And I
Mhm.
think also because when you homeschool, and you know, your title is in your program's titled real and raw.
Right.
When it's one salary, it's
Mhm.
not the easiest.
Right.
You
No.
got to make it stretch somehow.
Definitely.
So you know, you become chief accountant, you know, as well
Yep.
as everything else.
Right.
So, and homeschooling can be expensive because the government don't help you in that way.
No.
Yeah.
Any
Mhm.
resources that you buy, any trips that you want to go on or whatever, you got to find it for yourself.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But that's where I think, you know, I know God is good.
All the
Because,
Yeah.
time.
well, you know, we may not have absolutely everything we want, but we definitely have everything we need.
That's right.
And that's the main thing.
For
And
the
that's we teach our children the same thing. It's not about
Mhm.
what you want, it's about what you have and what God has provided with you. And like we tell our kids all the time, like, there's kids out there got nothing, and the things you have, I didn't even have as a kid. Like,
Mm.
you know, I didn't have half the stuff that they have as a kid.
Mm.
Like, so I definitely know we're blessed because God has blessed us immensely with that, you know. So, and I'm sure He's blessing you guys too. I know He's blessing you guys because you guys,
100%.
but see, also you're busy too at the Gen X, like we was talking about early in the beginning. So you're constantly doing that, calling people, trying to get, you know, different things set up, getting people to do different projects and stuff. So that on top of you doing the homeschooling, you're doing that too. So it's a constant movement. It's like you probably never stop moving until it's when you lay down. And even when you lay down, you probably still
thinking.
moving.
Well, I don't know if Tara would agree with me on this one, but I find like it may be the case. Tara may relate to this in terms of her music, but it's
Mhm.
like for me, Gen X, it's my not necessarily just my safe space. It's that it
Your
takes
outlet.
my mind off of home, off of
Mhm.
children, off of
Right.
everything else. It's something that
Something else
it's
to worry
my
about.
passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Something
Yeah.
that
It's your
I
outlet.
really
It's
do.
it's your way of just, you
That's
know,
it.
putting everything away and just putting your mind towards that one thing. I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love ministry, and I've always had a heart for ministry.
Mhm.
And so when I do those things, it's even though it can be relentless at sometimes
Right.
even though it's just a break from the mundane of the homeschooling, because obviously there's
Right.
certain things that still have to be done.
Right. Right.
But that's something else that I can actually channel my energies in. And sometimes homeschooling, you just like with work, there are good days
And they're
when
bad
you're really
days.
Never bad day.
productive, and there's bad days when they're just not going to concentrate, and everybody, just everyone's just restless, and
Mhm.
it's just not going your way.
But the difference with homeschooling is when that happens, you can actually take a break and say, okay, let's take a break. Or you can say, let's
Just go for a
like
walk.
You can do your own
like if
turn
you
of
have a
break.
like say you say to Abigail, we need to get this project done by Wednesday, and then but the week has just been crazy. Let's push it to Friday, or you can kind of extend it, and there's no repercussion, no nothing
It's
to
gonna
it.
stop it. Yeah.
No, there is, and you're 100% right. But I suppose sometimes there's a pressure you put on yourself
Yeah.
because you want to make sure that she is still of the level of her peers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your school friends are working right now. Do you
Yeah.
want to be behind your school friends? Well, we need to get going. Whereas sometimes I forget that because it's one-to-one attention in
Right.
the classroom,
Can be
how much?
intense.
Yeah, it can be intense, and she needs a break because I'm
Yeah.
just firing questions at her, or it's
Right.
all the attention has been given to her, which is good, but
Right.
because it is so intense, she needs a break. Whereas when
Right.
you're at school, you might be in a class of 30 or 20 or
Mm.
25. How much one-to-one attention do you get?
That's true.
Sometimes you'll only get that attention if you're maybe falling behind in order to get back
Yeah.
to where the rest of the class are. So
Right.
it has its benefits, but then sometimes I know for myself, I put pressure on myself
Mm-hmm.
to
Because you
to
want to see
complete.
your kids in a different. You want to see them at a certain level.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You don't want to see them falling behind.
Mhm.
I think
Everyone else.
I think
So,
every parent wants their kids to be, and I say this with not. I'll say this: everybody wants their children to be better than everybody else's, and I think this.
definitely.
But we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And as Andrew's saying, is that Abigail and Asher, it's quite intense when you think about it. It's just you and them. There's no, we'll give them the work, make sure that they're getting on with it.
Right.
And we'll check on them like
Mhm.
every 5 minutes. So, but we'll check on them just to make sure that they're doing it. There's no
Mhm.
excuses. There's no, well, I wanted to play with so and so. I wanted to do this. It's like,
Right.
why have you, where is it? Where's the work?
Right.
And so,
Right.
we need to be, we're mindful of that. And
Right.
the way the camera's still okay.
It's okay. We can still hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just saying that we do give them breaks, and we do make sure that they are, that the work is not as intense as it used to be or as it was before, and they do have their breaks. They do get on with the work, and
Right.
we're making sure that they're okay.
But going back to that pressure thing, I think also because homeschooling isn't the conventional route.
Right.
People that kind of disapprove. Some
Right.
friends, some can be relatives, some can be church folks, some can be just people that you meet.
Right.
And so when that happens, you kind of feel pressure. It can be both pressure for you as the parent and the child. So
Right.
for example, if I go to the supermarket and we're at the checkout, there'll be somebody will say, "Oh, did you have an appointment today?" And then I
Mhm.
say, "No, I'm homeschooled."
Right.
So what did you learn today? And then she's expected to rattle off all the things
All
that
the
she's
things that
learned.
she's learned. Yeah.
And then they'll question her, "Oh, so if you learned history, what happened in 1066?" And she's meant to answer the question. So they'll do like a pop quiz if they're in front of you to see if she's actually learning.
Oh
However,
wow.
if
That's
you're
bold of people.
people, well,
Yeah.
people are different, and
People are something else.
People are pokey. Just
yeah,
be honest. Like you
they
said,
just-
really, they're pokey. Just stay out my business.
yeah,
If I got my child with me, I got my child with me. Leave me alone.
but
Wow.
people want to kind of just check to see if your child's learning. So they want to test your child. Oh, so you did math today. Oh, you did times tables. Do you know what I'm talking? And they'll do whatever. So sometimes I'll say to Abigail, "Look, we're going out. Somebody may ask you a question. If they say, what school do you go to or something, tell them Adams Academy. That's the
That's
name.
right. That's a good name.
And then that will shut them down, because you'll find that if she went to school, nobody's asking her, "What did you learn today?"
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
The
true.
most they'll probably say was, "How was your day?"
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, "Fine."
Or
When
like,
you say
Right.
sorry, I'm sorry. Finish.
No, I was going to say just saying that. But when you say you homeschool, because it's something different, they want to see, and sometimes they're measuring up because maybe
Mhm.
some people, and not that I want to make anybody feel guilty, because at the end of the day, everybody chooses their path.
That's true.
I homeschool, you don't. That doesn't make that my way is better than yours or your ways are better than mine. It's got to work for our families. And everybody's
Definitely.
family's makeup is different, and we all have different pressures and different
Yeah.
types of children, and we've got to bear that all in mind and be, just understand and appreciate, but we're all
mindful.
trying to get to the same place.
Definitely.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
do you think you'll ever put your child or your children in school? You think you'll ever do that at some point?
I'm not anti-school. At the moment, I don't have a plan to put them into school. I've
No.
kind of got a game plan for GCSEs because of the various homeschool networks that I'm a part of. A lot of
Right.
the classes that she has, especially now since the lockdown, everything's on Zoom.
Right.
It's opened up a whole new world where you've got a lot of people that are doing classes that go right up to GCSE and A level.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
she feels quite comfortable in that environment.
Okay.
I appreciate that I don't know everything. So just like how if one of your children had a gap in their knowledge, you might bring in a tutor.
Right.
That's what I'm prepared to do. But
that being said, because of lockdown, there are so many resources now available, like online.
That's the best thing. Yeah.
And via Zoom, there's lots of teachers who do extra curriculum work for homeschoolers, so you can join particular classes, join Zoom classes. Like we mentioned that Abigail does French.
Right.
She does French via Zoom. There's how many other homeschoolers are with her in that class?
it's only 4 to 6. I don't know.
Yeah, so there's about 4 or 6 students that she's teaching at that
Mhm.
time. So there are lots of different resources that's available for homeschoolers now, especially after lockdown.
Right.
So yeah.
It's
And in
amazing
terms
how the lockdown really opened up so much more stuff for us to
It
do.
really
It did.
did. It really did.
I actually just thought of something. I'm sorry, because in Bermuda, I know for a fact in Bermuda, the homeschooling is done a little different. So some people do homeschool their kids,
Mhm.
but they also have where you just said about the French school with 4 or 5 kids.
Mhm.
They actually would have a school that was a homeschool school. If I'm
Mhm.
saying that kind of, it sounds double negative, where there's like 5 or 6 people, 5 or 6 kids, but they're being homeschooled, but they're all being homeschooled together.
And that's what we used
they-
to do. But since the
Oh,
lockdown,
I was gonna ask, did they do that here? Because when you brought up the French, it just popped in my head because I remember when I drove the bus, I would see kids that were not in a regular. They even had uniforms,
Mhm.
but they wasn't going to a public school or BI or
Okay.
private, Berkeley or something. It was going to, and I'm like, what school you go to? I'm like, oh, I get homeschool. I'm like, okay, but you're not at home. They're like, no, we go to like 4 or 5 of us. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So it's like they were still getting that social aspect, but
Mhm.
it was a much smaller
Group.
environment, so
Right.
it's easier to
Yeah.
to teach them because they all be different in levels. So it wasn't like they all the same year. So it
Mhm.
could be like year 9, year 12, and they was all so. But you said you did that until the pandemic.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Her homeschool class took place in the teacher's house, which basically she converted one of her rooms into a classroom.
Mhm.
Okay.
And she used to come there, and she'd have however many different classes each day.
Mhm.
The children, and Abigail would go on a Tuesday or whatever.
Mhm.
Same for art and for English. But since the pandemic, it went onto Zoom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I
Yeah.
think because it became convenient for us, because now we don't have to be the Uber drivers for our children,
Right.
they could just log in at home. So I think
Right.
eventually it will return back into a more classroom type setting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
I mean,
but-
even to some extent, Abigail does karate online.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was only the other day, like about a month or so ago, that she had to go to the actual leisure center to do her kata so she can
Mhm.
earn her belt.
No grading.
Grading, yeah, thank you. So she can earn her belt. But most of her classes have been done via Zoom.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
This is karate,
Wow. Karate via Zoom.
Yeah, well, funny thing, I didn't tell you this, but I saw a post on Facebook. I actually signed up to do piano lessons on online.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
was it with Leon?
Yeah, with Leon. Yeah, I saw his flyer. I saw. Yeah, see Leon. Yeah,
you
yeah.
put Leon in it.
Yeah,
Oh.
and he put up a flyer. So I said, I texted him and said, "Hey, I would love to, do it. Let me know, what I need to do." Yeah, because
wow.
I'm thinking I need to get, since I've been doing the podcast, I've been learning that I need to do more. Because I was always just like the singer's husband, and I was like the babysitter. So I was watching the kids. But since now I've been doing all these different platforms and different shows, and just trying to, build up the ministry. We've been trying to minister to people. I was like, I need to start maybe doing more. So I was like, maybe I'll start. I did piano when I was little. So I was like, maybe I'll go back into doing piano. So do it online and see if I can get, that I can play for a tower. Not really. Some days. One day. Maybe about 10 years.
No, but that's
have
fantastic.
that in your mind, man. That's the way you want to do. You got, keep aiming for it.
Yeah, but like it's just to the point of, like you said, but everything can be done on Zoom or FaceTime or so yeah, why not? Why not try and see?
Yeah.
Well, with the karate thing, because at that point in time, they couldn't do any kind of face-to-face combat anyway, because you've got a mask on, and you weren't able to actually do any physical sparring, so it just worked well for them, and it was cheaper for the instructor as well. So I think you've got more activities because you don't have the overheads.
She didn't practice on you?
No, actually, we've got in the kitchen.
Yeah. So in other words, Susie comes in the door. He has to come in ready to fight. Ready to defend himself.
I mean, sometimes I'll stand by the door and say, no, you need to put more effort into what you're doing, because sometimes you're like, no, Abigail, proper.
Right.
Get her to making sure that she's doing what she's supposed to do.
She's not trying to hurt Daddy. That's all. She's like, I don't want to hurt him.
Well, no. Abby really does actually want to hurt me.
Oh man! Wow. So yeah, I mean, so like in recap, we just know that, like you said, homeschooling, the pros and cons. You I think earlier in the thing you said something about it's gloomy, but I don't think anything you really said was gloomy. I think it was just being honest and just response. I think like the main point I got from the whole thing was that it's not for everybody, but it does take a lot of commitment and attention to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just something that when you do it, you have to make sure you're committed, because once you start, it's very hard to stop. You have to be committed to do the homeschooling.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Just like anything else in life.
100%.
Oh, actually, what are you going to do with your son? Because he's 4. He's 4, right?
Yeah,
he's 5. Okay, I knew it was around 4 or 5. Right. Yeah. Okay. So has he started?
He has started.
He has,
He has started. He doesn't do as many subjects as Abigail.
Right.
But we have started with the course, and we're enjoying it. The only thing that I am more mindful of is something that we brought up earlier, and that is the social side.
Yeah.
Right.
Abigail's more like David. She likes to keep herself to herself and is quite quiet and reserved. Asher's more like me. He's got bags of energy, want to be out there amongst people and ready and raring to go,
running everywhere. He likes that kind of life.
So but I am, and unfortunately at 5, that some of the activities I'd like to put him into, he's not old enough for yet.
Gotcha.
So I'm waiting a little bit, but he is in quite a few activities, and Daddy has committed himself to taking Asher to the park every lunchtime.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Good daddy.
Right. How about boxing? Daddy. Does he like boxing?
Yep. Hence the punch bag.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Because unfortunately, I used to take pictures for boxing, but because of my schedule, it's kind of hard to do. But it seemed to be like an outlet for him. He likes to box, so we put a boxing bag in his room. But he used to like going to the boxing gym. That's the one thing he would actually get up and be like, okay, I'm ready to go, because it was boxing. He likes to hit stuff.
That's it.
So I said, instead of hitting the wall or hitting your sister, hit the bag. So if you get upset, hit the bag. So it's like it's a release. If I hear him hitting the bag, then I know he's upset about something. I'm like, okay,
Well, that's it. And Asher's exactly the same. He likes hitting things. So
boisterous like that.
Energy, and that's just that's how they are. They're boisterous and whatever. So it was actually my dad, because my dad used to train boxers. He brought
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he wanted to take them to a gym, but unfortunately, I think the ones by me, you have to be either 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to hold out for a little. He's not there yet, but he's giving it a good go at home in the meantime.
Yeah, 'cause that's why I couldn't take Kaya because they said she was too young.
Yeah.
She's only 7. Yeah, because I asked if she can. They said, well, she's too young. I think she had to be 8 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that till you pointed that out. Yeah,
Mhm.
because they had like a family thing. We can all go as a family.
That's
And
it.
then it was like Kaya was still too small to do. So I was like, oh man. So, but that's definitely something like we could do as a family.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I'd like to do it as a
Yeah, yeah.
family.
We'll go
Put out
boxing.
some aggression and some frustration.
What we
and-
should do is all go.
Yeah,
And
that,
also get a little workout in at the same
get a little
time.
workout in the end, you know.
That's it.
Yeah, you know.
That would be
Just take,
fun. I mean,
you know.
in the boxing thing, because sometimes I like to take my frustrations out on the punch bag as well.
Yeah, everybody in this punch bag.
I think everybody needs something that they can just, something that they can do to release,
Yeah.
Well,
from
that's what
everything.
Andrea just said. That
Yeah.
Generation X is her release. That's her quiet place. You know, even though maybe busy doing it, it's still her. She gets away from everything and she can kind of kind of boot herself and then okay, I'm coming back and I'm
Yeah.
I even say before I come home, I don't come straight home. I may come straight home, but like I'll be in the car for like 15 minutes so I can just kind of decompress myself before I walk to the door.
Please don't give David ideas.
Oh
you know.
no!
No. You have look, Andrea. Listen. I know it's not that I'm giving an idea, right? I'm giving any male an idea because you have to realize something. Sometimes when you're at work, the stress of work, the stress of dealing with other people, and people irritating you, so you don't want to come home because if you come right, that's why I don't mix. That's why I can take. When I'm home, I'm home, and when I'm at work, I'm at work. I never intertwine the two. I never do. People at work would never know anything's going wrong at home, and my wife would never know what's going wrong at work. Because when I walk to that door, I leave it outside.
You turning it off, yeah.
I leave it outside. Sometimes I'm irritated and I'll be like, "This what happened," but 9 times out of 10, I'm leaving it outside. So when I'm sitting in the car, I just say, "Okay," I say a prayer, or I just put on some music, or sports or something, and just decompress myself because I have to come home and I'll be so ramped up from work that I'll take it out on Tara and the kids. So I learned that I need to decompress myself before I step foot in the door, so that I can then,
Pedro, the thing is that I've said to Ange that when I come home, I need at least 10, 15 minutes.
Was it always 10, 15 minutes?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let trouble me. Don't talk to me. Just say, hi, David. How are you? Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I get that now. I haven't always gotten that, Andrea.
Trust me.
No, but first I used to be like, oh, go to your dad. But then I learned after, actually just observing Pedro. And I said, you know what? I need to give him a little time. Because I know if I don't, it's either going to cause us to have an argument or something. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not all the way turned off by the time he get home from work. So I'm trying to learn to tell the kids, give your dad a little time.
Or give yourself, you too, because you be right on.
Well, I be right on top of him. I'm ready to have an adult conversation.
Yeah.
So, sometimes.
No, not yet. Not yet. Leave me alone.
I think one of the challenges I faced, though, was especially when David was going into offices, more so when you're working in Richmond. He'd be coming home, because it's so far from my house, he'd come home at 8 o'clock.
Wow.
Right.
I'm to give him 10, 15, 20 minutes. The kids are going to bed.
Right.
So, and then I'm going to have to do that too. So I've had them for all day teaching. I've done all their activity, the swimming, the karate, the whatever, trampolining, whatever they're doing. I've cooked, I've washed up, and I've still got to wait another 10, 15 minutes. And then they're going to be in bed anyway. So it's like, but God is good. He's heard my cry. And David now, obviously, with the lockdown and everything, he works a lot closer.
Yeah.
And then with the lockdown, he's working from home a lot more.
Okay.
Oh,
So
see,
when he
look how God worked it out.
Yeah.
There you go. See?
So now that he's working, but also David was saying things like, I need an hour. And I'm like, David just missing in the house. I can't find him.
Hey, listen, you know what, David? I feel your pain because Tyler tell you, I come home, I don't. Tyler's like, why don't you sit on the couch? I've been sitting in the car for like 12 hours. I go lay and stretch out on the bed. Like I go lay out and relax for a minute, watch a little TV, just sit there, look on my phone, do something, and then I come back downstairs.
Yeah. I get
So
that.
I feel your pain, David. I got you, man. I got you. Don't worry. I got you.
It's
You can
hard.
call me. You can call me if you got an issue. I'll talk to Andrea. You may beat me up, but I'll talk to her.
I'm talking to Tara, yeah. I'm just blocking on my phone.
Ah.
I think it's all just learning your mate and learning more, because we learn more about each other all the time. So it's just knowing those parts, when to tune down and say, you know what, I give him his time or I give her time, because even though I need my time too.
Oh,
So
I say, but like, you ain't talk to your sister today? Go talk to your sister. I'll tell her in a minute. Go talk to go call your mom. You haven't called your mom all day. Go talk to your mom.
that's only so he can have a longer break.
That's right.
But it's all
I can
good.
think about looking, but I'm not going to embarrass Andrew about that one. So
How feel it, Andrew? Your feelings won't be hurt. I know it won't be.
The thing is, I think David has an issue. Sometimes when I'm on the phone, yeah. When I'm on the phone, right? First of all, on Mondays, I pray on a Monday, so I pray with my prayer partner, and we got to go through the day. Sometimes that can take a minute.
listen,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
our daughter comes in, Mummy, you're always on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on the phone because I have to communicate. You know what? Sometimes you need some adult conversation.
See,
Yeah.
see,
You know,
you see what I'm
especially when
saying.
you've been at home all day
Yeah,
and you're
and
dealing with the
you have to
children.
Wait.
Wait another
Yeah,
half
that
an
is
hour,
true.
hour before. I could
That's true. That's true.
You know what I do? You know how to handle that? Well, I don't know if you could do this, Dave, but because I'm in the car, half the time we having conversations on the phone. So she's having adult conversations with me on the phone.
So you
when
know
I
what?
get home,
Pedro gives
when
me
I get
all his
home-
conversation in the car. When he get home, it's turned off.
that's right, because my brain is shut down. My brain is at mush at that moment. I just want to relax.
Okay.
Maybe you guys should try that.
See, I would love to.
But
she's busy.
I'll
Unfortunately,
give it a go.
yeah, you give it a go.
She can't talk if she's trying to teach the daughter. What she gonna be saying? Okay, Dave, what you were saying? Oh, hold on, Abigail. She can't do two things at once.
Listen, David isn't. How should I put it?
I don't know.
He's not a phone person.
He's. I don't know if he's a me person. Yeah, about phone. David doesn't. Yeah, David doesn't. David doesn't do phone calls. But he
Okay.
doesn't do text messages or email either. So I'll often say to
And
him,
I know that for a fact because I've texted him before and he ain't text me back still.
Until you get your message.
emails and how many thousands of email responses. Like, he's even got a special mailbox for me.
Really?
Oh wow.
Unread. Unread.
Well, if he's doing it to you, I don't feel bad now. I'll let that go then. I understand.
No. So we're gonna have to work. I think we're gonna have to rewatch you because I know you did a program on communication.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Dave, did you ever watch that?
Yeah, we might have to watch that one together. Yeah, that's a whole new
I
show.
think you
right
guys. I think you guys have a good laugh because it was really, really funny.
Yeah, it was.
I looked back at it the other day and laughing at myself and different comments. I was like, I can't believe I said that. But yeah, sometimes you need to just.
Yeah, because you don't know how to communicate at all.
Okay, I just overlooked Pedro. So yeah.
I hear you, Tara. I
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, it's all a work in progress, you know.
Well, that's
How long have you guys been married? So 11 years? 12. How long you been married?
They said 11 years. 12.
12, right? No. Yeah, right, because Abigail's 11. You said 6 months, right, after you got
That's it,
married,
yeah,
right?
12 years and 13 years this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It's a bit
All
of
right.
13th.
So we're a little behind you. So any pearls of wisdom that you can share with us?
Anytime.
We
But,
still growing.
Anytime. We're still learning ourselves. We've been almost 17 years
Yeah.
together,
Wow.
16 years married.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't
And
believe
we're
it.
still learning. I never would have thought I would have been married this long.
Mhm.
Me either.
Especially to her.
But but God.
Oh.
So you know what? Y'all watch out for our next podcast. Our next podcast gonna be real and raw. And I'm gonna make sure I put it all in.
Wait, no, not the next one.
Oh, the next one after that.
No, not the next one after that either. At the end of the month.
Oh, so what's coming up? What's coming up,
The
Tara?
end of the
Oh,
month.
next week we have a gentleman from Huntsville, Alabama named Andrae. He does different he has his own ministry. He does a ministry. He does Facebook and he does Instagram and TikTok
Mhm.
through his ministry. He's lost his leg and he's had some other health issues. And so through all of that, God has really brought him out of the hole and brought him out to the light. So he's been just talking about his experiences and things like that. So we're gonna have him on next week, and then the following week we're gonna have a gentleman named Mr. Daniels, OC Daniels, who talks about with something that you need to watch, Andrea, because this is something that I'm not gonna say, but this is something that I know you can relate to, even David.
Mm-hmm.
How to say no with a smile.
Oh yeah, Pedro, you know.
Yeah, he wrote a book.
Yeah,
it's called Kindness, and it's about how as people in general, we need to learn how to say no, but don't feel guilty that you said no. Because the church can get you sometimes when you say no, the church can get you to be like, how dare you say no? It's a ministry. You're supposed to be doing it. You're supposed to be giving your free time, So who cares if you don't get paid? Who cares if if you're already stressed out, if you're burnt out? So we're going to have him on in a couple of weeks. He's going to talk about his book and talk about the different things that, the different points and stuff that we can do for that. So that's going to be for the next couple of weeks. And then after that, we go back to just us for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, just some topics that we're going to talk about. Right. Actually talk about something that you brought up about how we pressure our children and how we need to understand that sometimes we live through our children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need to sometimes learn to step back. Like you were saying, we need to ease back and say, wait a minute, because I think sometimes we raise our children like we was raised. And how we was raised is different how children are now. And we have to understand that. So we put too much expectations into our children where we need to learn that we need to just be happy with who they are and what they're doing, and not be like, like if they get a 95, why couldn't you get a 98? You get one wrong answer. Why'd you get that wrong? That was such an easy answer. Just things like that. So we're going to talk about, different things like that. And that's all coming up in the next month. Yeah. Next couple of weeks and the next month. Yeah. So we got some things in store for our audience and stuff.
Good.
So yeah.
And then we appreciate you guys coming on with us.
Oh, we definitely appreciate that. Definitely. We're going to have you back again.
Yeah. Anytime.
Especially when you're doing like when maybe we go do the Generation X and promote that and stuff. And
that'd be fantastic.
Promote that and do that stuff like that. Yeah, to get that out there more and stuff. Yeah. So we're definitely gonna have you back on. But we definitely appreciate your time that you guys took out today out of your busy schedules.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's been interesting, and even for us to rethink as to the reasons why and
why we do
things, why we do and what we're doing. Sometimes you can forget, but the main thing, if anything, I'd like to leave people with is that, and this is not to say that people going to state school won't be saved, but the main driving force was that I wanted to leave a good impression on my children, because the most important thing is that our children are saved.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's right. Yeah,
definitely.
We can see the clock is ticking down.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Soon to come, and we've got to pump into them. Feed into them, pour into them as much as we possibly can with the resources we can.
That's right.
Not just the book knowledge, but a knowledge of God.
The knowledge of God. Definitely. Well, to me, actually, knowledge of God is more important than book knowledge. But
100%.
Because you teach them, and even when they get older, it won't leave from them. I'm a true testament of that. I definitely left the church and did my own thing, but through it all, I still knew God was there, and I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I knew I had to come back. I just was being selfish in coming back. So but then God smacked me and brought me back, in a way that I didn't expect, but it happened. So I'm not mad. I never regret anything that's happened in my life, because I know God had me on the path that I've gone is the path that I'm supposed to have taken. So yeah, definitely, I definitely agree with that in that aspect. But definitely, we gotta just keep. Kai was the other day singing and shot.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook because I was like, oh, how you know that song? And so I just started singing it with the it was the hymn. Anyway, I can't remember at the moment. But that's one thing I was saying.
You don't remember?
Because I don't remember at this exact moment. But I just know that that's what I missed when they was going to Adventist school in Bermuda. When we moved here, I just saw the different change in their attitude. Because on the spiritual side of it, they was just different kids. And then we given them that. but they not getting it for the 8 hours they in school. They getting everything, they digesting everything else and attitudes, and they always
Yeah.
come back and talk about how the teacher's yelling and screaming at them and stuff. So I'm like, wait just a second, what's going on at this school? But I can't control everything that's going on there. That's why I can say the benefits of homeschooling could be a good thing and for your children, especially on the spiritual
When
side.
we all get to heaven, she was singing.
Yeah, when we all get to heaven.
Yeah.
What a day. So, I try to, that's why I'm glad we're doing the Bible studies with them and stuff. That's really been helping. And anything like that, I just think it's important that we instill that into our kids.
100%.
Actually, they're getting baptized, aren't they?
Yeah, they get, after
Sky
we
and
get it-
Kaya.
yeah, they're doing the fundamentals now.
Yeah, they're doing he calls it the love letters.
Yeah, God's love letters. Yeah.
God's love letters. It's not the love letters. It's the the vows and everybody. The pastor that's
Yeah.
doing it. He don't
Yeah.
call it that. He said it's too old fashioned, so he calls it the love letters.
So
Yeah.
is Abigail baptized?
Not as yet, no.
No.
Not as yet. Okay. So it's something that Sky decided, because Sky is the same age as Abigail. Didn't
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were so close in age.
Mm.
But she's ready. She's been doing it now. Her attitude has changed. It's just now the kids that some of the kids she around, some of the kids are not always good influences for her. So she picking up different. I think that's the one setback of having your kids in school. The different things that they pick up, the temptation, and what other kids are doing, trying to fit in. So I would say that would be one thing I don't like.
Well, I don't think the school even talks about God. I
They
think
don't talk about God at all.
No. Yeah.
Because Sky said none of her friends are religious.
At all.
Well, that's the general trend at the moment in schools.
Yeah.
Right. And
Which in the UK I find that to be even more pronounced than the US. Myself personally.
No, you're absolutely right.
Even at work, I when I worked in the NHS, I can't even think of anybody that was religious that I worked with. In no
even
aspect.
then, even if they were,
A
they're
lot of
they're
people
not like,
hide
can't
it.
even tell you.
Yeah, a lot of people
Right.
hide it because they
Yeah,
don't
well,
want-
that's the thing. Like, I'll say, thank God, God bless me. And they look at me like, what? What are you talking about, God? I'm like, I believe in God. They're like, oh, why?
It's like some people just don't want to. They want to keep that part of them hidden because they don't want you to think of them as somebody's trying to convert them or trying to get them to be more religious or trying to impose your religious beliefs on other people. So
Right.
they'll normally just keep it to yourself. And at work it's difficult to talk about God unless you're invited to talk about God. If you know what I mean.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. I know exactly exactly. Yeah, because then they kind of ostracize you and push you to the side because they're like, oh, he's not.
God, man.
Oh, he's too godly. He's too thing. We
Yeah.
can't mess with him. Like, so we'll go over here and he stay over there, or she'll stay over there and we'll go over here. Like, yeah,
Wow.
I definitely see that. Yeah.
I would say that's the only thing I don't like with the public school. If I could just snatch that part into them and that they don't have to take everything else that they're taking from the outside, I would say that's the one thing.
And that's the reason why I really wanted an Adventist school,
Right.
so that so the children are getting it for all angles. So they're getting that religious input from the home. They'd be
Definitely.
getting it from the school. They'd be getting
Right.
it at church. They'd,
Right.
and God willing, there wouldn't be any way for them to escape, kind of thing. Because
So listen, see,
so much.
that's why we're gonna have to have you back because I'm sorry to cut you off. You just brought up a point. I love Seventh Adventist schools, but my issue with Seventh Adventist schools now is that they become too politically, in a sense of that they bring in the outsiders and they're influencing the kids in the school to do, and I'm just being, you said keep it real and raw. I'm just keeping it real and raw.
The non-Adventist people.
The non-Adventists coming in, and because I know when I was like hearing stories in BI and some of the things that were going on, I was like, what is what is going on? And the influence was just, they're bringing in the kids that maybe get expelled. So they say, oh, we'll accept you because it's money, or it's what, or like maybe we can help them, and that's good. But sometimes,
in London, this was kind of like the same thing. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but the John Loughborough School, which was the Seventh Adventist school, which I went to in Tottenham,
Right.
it became under the local authorities' control because of for one reason or another, which I'm not going to go into. But they started to have a lot of outside teachers that came in, and they started to influence the students and the way that
Yeah.
things were being taught,
Right.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's probably something to that would be a really good subject to talk about.
But one
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the
Definitely.
things that frustrates me, I think, is that even though I don't know too much about what's going on in the schools now because I'm not in that school system, I
Right.
think sometimes, which is quite sad, our church do things cheaply.
Yes.
So the amount of
Yeah.
school
Definitely.
teachers we have in our schools
Yes.
are working at other schools. If we
Right.
could just pay a decent wage, a wage where they can afford to have a little money in the bank, have a good house, decent house, be able to go on holiday a couple of times a year, that
Mhm.
it's not a problem with paying people. Money isn't evil. The love of money is the
Yeah,
problem.
right.
Definitely.
We need money.
But we all need money. We all need a decent wage where we can
Yeah.
live, and God wants us to prosper.
Definitely.
Pay something decent. We
Mm.
could,
Right.
because when our people, we do things well.
Yeah.
Yes, we
When
do.
we put our hand to do things, we
Yeah.
do them well, and we have
Mhm.
so many professionals that are excelling, but yet that our institutions seem to be failing. Why?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
there. And others
Wow.
are there, and they don't have those
Those
beliefs
skills.
and those core values that we have.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and it's a shame. It's
It
a
is.
shame.
Yeah. But like you said,
Wow.
that's a whole nother podcast
That's a
right
whole
there.
other
Yeah.
thing.
We could talk for 2 hours on that one.
Definitely.
But
Wow.
yeah, we have gone way over our time, which has been good though, because I don't mind.
Mhm.
But we really have enjoyed you guys
I
today.
hope you haven't
Thank
lost any
we-
people. Yeah, We haven't lost
Hey,
Definitely
that-
not.
any way.
It's
Definitely
fine.
not.
You know, we don't think about it in the sense of like how many people are watching. We just want to do this to educate and just teach people
And just
From
go with it, even
personal-
if it's just one person.
on personal relationship. Just
Mhm.
have a personal relationship with everybody, just for them to, like, because you never know what people are going through in life.
Mm.
One
Yeah.
thing I've learned about doing this podcast is that people have contacted that you're like, wow, like we didn't even know that you was even going through that, and it just helps, and then people can go back and listen to us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the different platforms that we're
Right.
on.
Mhm.
So, it's not like they miss it today, they can't watch it. So it's they on in the universe, the web universe.
Right.
So, but yeah, we just thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really have enjoyed this.
No worries.
And,
It's been a pleasure.
yeah, and we got to do this again.
Definitely
Yes,
got to do it
definitely.
again.
Definitely. So,
Okay. Yeah.
what you
Okay, well,
got,
thank you for
Tom?
having us. And should we bid you good night and we'll let you round up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, then we'll
That's
good
good.
night to you and thanks.
Good
Good
night
night,
to both of you,
guys.
David. So
Thanks,
that's
man.
David. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Could you say again the generation,
The Gen X.
the Gen X for
Okay,
YouTube,
so the things we do for love
right?
is going to be on Friday evening, 7:30. Join us on YouTube. If you search for SDA Generation X, you will find us there.
Yeah.
On Friday, we looked at lessons from Adam,
Right.
and that program is still there. But if you tune in this Friday, 7:30, we will be looking at lessons from Abraham.
Right.
Lessons from Abraham. We'll be going for another 6 Fridays straight. So we look forward to seeing or
We will be
listening
there.
to you there.
Yeah.
And this is your 5th series, so you have other series, so people they can actually go and watch other programs that
Yeah,
you've
we've
had.
got a few other programs listed. We've been operating since I think it was 2019
Yeah.
when we
Oh,
That's when we first met you.
and that's
Yep.
when Tara came and she tore the house down.
Stop it,
that's when
Andrea. Stop it.
that's when I opened my big mouth and Pastor McKenzie had me drive Lamar Campbell around
That's the one, man. We
in
were-
the van. I was like, I could drive a van. Oh, Pedro, guess what? Take them
Here's the van.
take them there. Next time I'm a chauffeur. I'm like, dude, really?
Yeah, and we need to tell the story of how you nearly killed our
Oh, don't go there. See, I didn't want to. That was not my fault. Hey, listen. You should.
You know what?
Hey, listen.
If you was in the van,
Listen,
if you was in the van,
no, wait. No,
Lamar
I got.
Campbell like, boom.
He literally his face planted on the back of the chair like boom. But listen, not my fault. He didn't have on his seatbelt.
Oh, and the ladies did too. They was almost on the floor.
They almost flew over the seats. Listen, no, it's not my fault.
Nobody had
They
on
had
their
on their,
seatbelt.
nobody had on
We
their
had on our
seatbelt. We had on our
seatbelt,
seatbelt. So
And
why
I-
didn't they have on theirs? And it wasn't my fault. The lady walked out from behind the bus, and it was a crosswalk, and not realizing that it was a crosswalk, because in London they put a crosswalk in the middle of the street, not at the corner, but in the middle. I'm like, what? Why is a crosswalk in the middle? Like, what? So I hit the brake, and everybody was just like, boop, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'd have been all over the news. Like,
Mark kept holding his phone, and his face went right into the back. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the latest was on the floor. I was like, oh my goodness.
But they good people. They laughed about it. We went out to eat, and we had a good laugh on it. So everything was good.
You had to be there to see it.
It was funny though. We never told that story before. Now it's out there. It's out there. I almost killed Lamar Campbell.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to laugh so hard. But
the truth is the truth. Hey, it's what happened, man. But no, you know what? Everything happens for a reason.
I'm so glad you didn't.
He put on his seatbelt after that. I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure to this day he's still wearing that.
I'm sure he does.
You didn't take him out, and that he was still able to minister to us.
Oh, definitely, yes. I got him back to you in one piece, so he was able to minister. Yes, he was. So I did my job. I got him back.
That's right.
But yeah.
Well,
thank you so much, guys.
And we'll look forward to joining you again another time soon.
Definitely.
Sure.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So
Oh,
that's
my
the God is Real and Raw
goodness.
podcast. We want to thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
We have a couple of new things going on. In the next couple of weeks, we will be discussing. We have done these T-shirts
That's
with
right.
the Goddess podcast.
And we have
and
done
mugs.
mugs. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys can see it.
They can see my red one. Get yours off the camera.
I'm just
They
trying
can
to
see
put
the
my-
red. They can see my red one.
And you can see picture. Anyway, we have different things that we're setting up for the future, and we getting our store, together so you guys can order some products from us.
Yeah,
So,
and some other things. So we're working on that. So the next couple of weeks, and you only have to go through us. You can do it on your own. The
Mhm.
company will
And
you
they
can go
ship
straight to
through everywhere,
They
right?
ship to the U.S., UK, everywhere. They ship
Mhm.
worldwide, so it could be anywhere, any place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, coming to the UK maybe a little bit more.
A little bit
of the,
more, but it's not too bad.
It's not too bad, and they got like stuff like off and stuff like 15-20% off. So
Yeah. And
Yeah,
we'll have
yeah.
different logos and stuff that I would make, and so you can have a different variety to pick from and everything like that. So yeah.
and
You
then
guys look
also
for
on
that.
top of that, because ministry is not cheap. If you
Mhm.
guys want to help us with our ministry and our podcast,
Mhm.
you can donate to hashtag, not hashtag,
Hashtag.
$. There we go. $.
I'd rather put it up on the screen because
God
my
is
husband
ministry.
always
No,
says
because
it
people are not
wrong.
on the screen. So you can go to
All right. Read it, Pedro. Read it.
$ Real and Raw
Mhm.
podcast,
Mm-hmm.
# God is Land for the UK,
Mm-hmm.
$ Real and Raw podcast for the US,
Mm-hmm.
and we also at God is Ministry for PayPal.
That's right. At Goddess Ministry.
And right,
Your
the other
PayPal.
two was the Cash App because
Yeah.
I never say it right. It's
Mhm.
weird. We never ask. We don't really ask. We should ask more often, but we
Yeah.
don't.
So yeah, we're gonna be asking now. So you guys, if you feel led to donate
By the
and
Holy Spirit.
to the ministry, it would definitely be appreciated. And God said give, and it's best to give than to receive. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So we're receiving when you're giving. Either way, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, right, babe?
Yes. Yes, and I just got the text for piano lesson, so
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll be contacting them.
So you guys, if you want to contact us as well, at our email, you can contact us at thegoddessministry@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if you even want to be a part of our show, and if you want to have something that you want to talk about, that you want to get out, you can always contact us and we can help you put your stuff out there however you want to do, and we all can grow together. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And thank you so much for our Renters Radio London listeners. We appreciate you listening. And what did you say? Write it down?
Yeah, write it down.
Oh, he's writing it down. Okay.
Right. Yeah. For our listeners for Adventures Radio London that will be listening to this, thank you guys.
Thank you so
for
much
listening.
for supporting and stuff.
Mhm.
We had a good when we put the podcast out. They finally put it out on the platform
On the website.
and we had a really good response. So we want to thank the listeners for listening to that
Mm-hmm.
and even the downloads and stuff. So we really do appreciate it. We just thank God that you are enjoying the show enough to download it. So thank you so much again.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
And also all the other people out there on
Mhm.
Facebook and
YouTube,
YouTube and Twitter,
all of those
and
places.
Spotify and every other platform that my wife has put us on. So many platforms I can't even keep up anymore.
Well, you know, it is
Yeah.
what it is. So, you know, thank you. This is Tara,
This is Pedro.
and y'all have a blessed.
Yeah, this is the God is
blessed,
Real and
blessed,
Raw
blessed week.
podcast. Peace.
Peace.
To the God.